Hi guys, Amy here. Today I want to talk about shifting your perspective around your problems. What I mean is your problems, I believe, are there. I strongly believe, I want to say that I know, I really feel are there by design. I mean, for one reason is to get our attention so that we solve the problem, because if everything's fine or feels, if we don't have the uncomfortable sensation, if things feel okay, but underneath we do have underlying problems that have not been addressed, and so as a result we're not where we want to go, we are holding ourselves back in certain areas in our lives or our career. Well, we need the uncomfortable feeling, the uncomfortable emotion, the problem to get big enough so that we are uncomfortable, right? Because then we're going to pay it some attention. And I talk about this a lot, so quick review before I get into what I really want to talk about. So you may have heard me talk about this before, but once you get into the practice of paying closer attention to your emotions so that you solve your problems, well, what happens is you start to solve your problems faster before the emotion gets so uncomfortable. You know how people talk about hitting rock bottom and only then do they start to create change in their lives? Well, you don't have to do that. And this is one reason that I've been able to transition my career in a better direction, where I feel like I'm making progress and getting more and more aligned, and then staying aligned with what feels meaningful to me, and then continuing to enable myself to make a greater impact in my career, because I pay close attention when something doesn't feel right, and I pay attention to what that is. I get more curious about it. I sit with that discomfort rather than trying to ignore it and keep moving forward, which is probably human nature with what I'm doing, thinking, well, I want to get my work done. I don't want to pay attention to this thing that's bothering me because it's going to slow me down. But this actually creates the opposite effect. When you have a problem, whatever area, it will impact other areas in your life, and it will slow you down because the problem wants to be solved. So instantly or automatically you're working with a distracted focus, and so you're going to be working slower, right? Because you're distracted. You get more done when you put 80% of your focus, attention, effort, and energy into one direction versus splitting it in two different directions. Okay, so that is one benefit of problems. They are there showing up to help you solve the problem so that you can get better, feel better, go in a new direction, make the impact that is meant for you to make. But another reason that I think problems are there is that problems are serving as a very useful tool to show you your direction. I'll give you some examples. I had a couple sessions with a life coach who, in learning about her background, I won't get into it because it's her personal story. She does have it on her website. But it's so, I just can't even imagine going through what she went through as a young girl. But having gone through that, this is what I want to call this video, make lemonade. Not to be cheesy, but this thought popped in my head today and I decided to do this video, make lemonade, because we are dealt hands of cards when we're kids and all throughout our lives. But as we get older, we have choices. So you can choose what you do with these lemons. Again, I'm not going to get into the horrific stuff that this woman went through. But if she hadn't gone through those things, she likely would not have felt drawn to or compelled to go in the direction that she did. So now she's a life coach. She's coached hundreds, maybe thousands of people, I don't know. And she really helped me as well. And she started in a completely different career path, and she got her bachelor's and she got her master's, like all in the same course. And then once she got started in that career, she realized she didn't like it and she wanted to be a life coach. And she was like, what am I going to do? I've got all these student loans and everything. But those problems that she was given as a child, and I'm not going to say that it's right or that it's okay, but she had a choice as she got older with what she was going to do with that. So just like myself, I had my own problems that I was given as a kid, and what I chose to do, I didn't have control over what I didn't have control over, but I chose to focus on what I did have control over. So maybe as a young girl, I didn't feel good in I didn't feel good, okay? And so, but what, I didn't have control over how I was being treated at home, but what did I have control over? And I started developing these healthy habits. I started running, I started writing, and I started on a quest, searching for ways to feel better. And one thing that I learned that helped me feel better was accomplishing things, setting goals for myself, and working toward them, and then achieving them made me feel really good. And then I became an overachiever, and I had to figure out that balance there, which I feel like I've figured out now. It's crazy. It's amazing, where I can relax a little bit or a lot sometimes and still, work hard and enjoy my work, but it doesn't feel hard anymore. It's super weird. But anyway, I chose to seek out positive things. I chose to focus on what I did have control over, what I could control. And while I found things that made me feel good, underlying, I still didn't feel good. So I chose to take responsibility for that. So I'm not going to blame, well, so-and-so did this, so-and-so treated me like this, so-and-so didn't do this. Even though these were very instrumental people in my life, I feel like these adults who were supposed to, love and support me unconditionally did more to tear me down than build me up. So I had a lot of extra work to do to become the person that I am today, which is happy, kind, successful in my definition of success for me, fit, healthy, and just feeling good almost all of the time. It's so cool. And like, even if something not great happens, or something doesn't happen the way that I want it to, I still feel really good. It's wonderful. And I'm so proud of myself for that. But because I did that for myself, I chose that for myself. But had I not been given these lemons, I would not be on the path that I'm on. I wouldn't have chosen such to continue pursuing greater freedom in my career. I wouldn't have achieved the things that I have achieved, and I wouldn't have sought out, researched, and taught myself ways to overcome anxiety, to overcome depression. I wouldn't have equipped myself with all of these tools to now go and help others. So yeah, childhood sucked for me. I mean, in comparison to somebody else, absolutely had it worse. But it doesn't matter. My point is, we all have stuff, but it is up to you what you do. Are you going to say, well, this didn't work out for me, so I'm not even going to try for that thing? That's on you. Are you going to say, my parents did this, so I just, am stuck, here? I'm just giving super vague examples, but I think you get the point. You have what you do with the hand that you're dealt, with the lemons that you're given. That's up to you. And there are so many examples of people that I can think of in my personal life, and famous people that we know about on television, like Oprah, many others. And I'm sure you can think of people in your life. Like, do you know somebody that is, for example, has a consistent negative outlook? They're always complaining, rather than looking for a solution and trying to find the positive, and or maybe choosing to be kind even when they don't feel good, or just some examples. I bet you have some people that you can think of in your life like that, and look at their life. What's happening for them? A lot of people, continue, these kinds of people that have this negative mindset continue to have negative experiences, where they're always sick, or they're always getting injured, or just something keeps, not working out. I mean, I have things in my life that don't work out, but then what I do is I look within and I say, okay, what's going on here? And I get curious about how I showed up in that opportunity or whatever thing that didn't work out. I get curious about how I'm presenting myself and why that is. And then I go searching for information from people that maybe do have what I want, or have information, expertise in an area that I don't. I don't settle if something isn't right, and you don't have to either. So I challenge you to think about what's not working in your life, and think about why that is. Get curious. And I'm probably talking to people here that have my audience is likely going to be people that already have a positive outlook. So I don't know that anybody's going to be watching this video that has a kind of a predominantly negative outlook. But I guess, if if you're a positive person and you tend to think positively, what can you take away from this video? Hopefully more encouragement to just shift your perspective around your problems and see how what you were, the less than optimal situations that you dealt with, maybe they're there by design. I have another client that I worked with in the past that grew up without a dad. His dad passed away when he was a little boy, and it caused him a lot of pain. And something that he wants to do is develop a foundation or organization, something to help boys. Well, if he didn't go through that challenging situation, he wouldn't have that desire. And one of the things that I want to work on is a self-empowerment program for kids. Well, why am I so passionate about acknowledging, empowering, building up kids? It's not something I'm working on at present, but it's in the back of my mind, and I've jotted down notes, and it's likely, something I'll be working on pretty soon. But it's because I was made to feel disempowered as a kid. So if I didn't have that experience, I probably wouldn't have that drive, that draw. So what hands were you dealt? What lemons were you given that were not that great? Maybe they super sucked, but maybe there's a reason for that. I talk a lot about focusing on the frustration and asking yourself what's bugging you. So sometimes that problem is getting your attention so that you can solve it. And other times, in addition to that, that problem is getting your attention to draw you, to point you in a direction where you can make an impact in only the unique and special way that you can. I hope you liked the video. I'd love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. If you want to share one of your lemons or challenges and what you want to do about it, or anything that you want to share, I'd love your feedback here. Share the video too, and like and subscribe if you got some value to help me grow the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.